What's up, everybody? It is Nia Pierce, editor-in-chief at SheAttack.com, and I am coming to you guys with some Zelda information. We got a lot of Zelda information based on what was shown to us on the Nintendo Treehouse Live. And boy, oh boy, my Zelda fangirl is on fleek today. Oh my goodness. I love everything that was shown for Zelda, which does have a subtitle now called The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, here's everything that we know about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So basically, everything that we know about The Legend of Zelda, or everything that we have known about The Legend of Zelda since Ocarina of Time has been basically flipped on its head. This game is going to be the most open-ended, open-world Zelda we have seen since the very first one on the Nintendo Entertainment System, aka the NES. So basically, this means that there's gonna be no more point A, point B, point C, big event, then 1, 2, 3, end boss. So everything that you know about Zelda, 3D Zelda, get it out your brain. It don't apply no more. We going into a whole new way to play Zelda. Well, not even new if you played since the original Nintendo, but everything that you've known since the 64, get it out your head right now. So first of all, from the footage that they showed us at the Nintendo Treehouse, you don't start off with that iconic green tunic. You have clothing options, and the clothing have stats in this game, you know, RPG style. And there's a lot more options in regards to clothing for Breath of the Wild, including armor. There was a section in the treehouse where Link was wearing straight up like metal armor fighting some golem in the middle of the Hyrule field, or whatever they're going to be calling it for Breath of the Wild. And for those of you fangirls out there, you can play as a half-naked Link as long as it's sunny outside, because if it's cold or the weather is acclimate, then you're gonna be experiencing some troubles. Link is gonna be very, very lethargic, and he might die. So just make sure that you're aware of that. Now, speaking of the weather in Breath of the Wild is gonna be dynamic. You know, just like the day and night system that they've incorporated in The Legend of Zelda, there's gonna be dynamic weather as well. So say that you're trying to traverse a mountain when it's raining outside. You know, it's gonna be slippery, obviously, so that means you're just gonna have to come back when the rain is no longer there. So I think it's really interesting how weather is actually gonna impact gameplay. That's very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to that. There's also going to be lots of climbing. Not only is Breath of the Wild very big and vast, but it's also very vertical. There's lots of really high mountains, lots of trees to climb, lots of temples and buildings to climb as well. So that's really dope. I feel like Link is getting his Nathan Drake on, and I am all for that. There's also going to be the stamina gauge, which is coming back. If you guys remember in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, the stamina bar was in that game as well. So obviously there's a lot of action that you're going to be doing in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with the climbing. So just make sure to watch your stamina bar, because you got to be real strategic with that, because you could fall to your doom, unfortunately, because Link gets tired, y'all. He gets tired in this game. And just like in the original Zelda on the NES, there is no clear-cut path. Nintendo has said that if you want to go straight to the final boss, you can definitely do that, but you will be very, very underspec. You will probably get bodied. So I would not advise that. But I think it's really interesting that you don't have to necessarily play the story in order to finish the last boss. I think that's actually pretty cool. They're really making this game as open-ended as you can possibly get with the game. Also, in the E3 demo, there were no signs of residents, wanderers, or towns, and that actually kind of concerned me, because I was like, well, what's the point of this big open world if there's no other residents, there's no other, you know, signs of wildlife? But apparently in the E3 demo, they omitted a lot of towns and other inhabitants in the world for the sake of omitting spoilers. So shout outs to Nintendo for that, because I know there's a lot of people out there who didn't even want to watch the stream because they didn't want to be spoiled. They didn't want anything to come out of the stream that would kind of maybe spoil or hinder their enjoyment of the final product. Also, The world map in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's smaller, slightly smaller than the world map of Xenoblade Chronicles X. And for those of you guys who did not play Xenoblade Chronicles X, that world is bigger than Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined. It is ginormous. So the fact that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is gonna be slightly smaller than that, wow. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if I can stomach a world that big anymore. But fortunately for us, you can tame wild horses in Breath of the Wild, so you won't be doing everything by foot. This kind of concerns me though, because even though horses are fast, are they that fast? So hopefully in Breath of the Wild there will be some kind of fast or quick navigation system. Also in Breath of the Wild, Link can snowboard down snowy slopes with his shield. I'm not joking. There's actually an article version of this video on SheAttack.com right now that has a video of my boy Link getting his SSX tricky on right now. You feel me? I am so excited for that. And along with that, of course, also if he's visibly cold, he shivers and he turns red and he also loses health. So make sure you take some warm clothes with you because that will be to your detriment. And of course, just like most Legend of Zelda games, the wildlife that you see in the world depends on the time of day. For example, in the daytime, you're gonna see some live fleshy bokoblins, and at nighttime, you're gonna see the Stalfos child version of the bokoblins, the skeleton guys. And funny thing about the skeleton bokoblins in Breath of the Wild is that whenever you're chopping them down, if you don't destroy their head, their bodies are gonna look for their head and they're gonna come back and try to whoop on you. But if you defeat them and break them up into pieces, you can actually use their arms as melee weapons to beat on their brothers. I thought that was pretty hilarious when watching the gameplay of that. So yeah, and it's kind of creepy how the skeleton arms kind of wiggle around on the ground. It's like, yo, Zelda is so stupid. This game series is hilarious. But Breath of the Wild will also have Amiibo support. Now, when I first heard about Amiibo, I was like, Lord Jesus, Nintendo, please do not mess up my precious Zelda with Amiibo. But the way that they're going to be using Amiibo in Breath of the Wild is actually a really good way to use them. It's not some gimmicky bullcrap that you've seen in a lot of Nintendo games on the Wii U and the 3DS. If you have The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, you can use the Wolf Link Amiibo that came in that package for Wolf Link to act as a companion to Breath of the Wild Link, which is actually pretty cool. So Wolf Link is like fighting enemies alongside of you, and he's playable with you until his hearts deplete, if his hearts deplete. So make sure you take really good care of Wolf Link because he looks really smart actually in the game. Watching the gameplay, he's really aware of the enemies and his surroundings. Also, something very jarring in The Legend of Zelda, which actually makes a lot of sense, but it's very jarring to me because this just goes against everything that I thought I knew about Zelda, is that you don't collect hearts anymore, people. As far as I can tell, there is no heart piece collection because Link actually freaking eats, like, food. He actually eats real food. And it's interesting because in Breath of the Wild, it's not like a shop or anything where you can go buy food. You basically have to eat off the land. So that means that you're getting your Monster Hunter on by, you know, hunting down actual animals and collecting fruit and vegetables to make recipes and things like that. And depending on the recipes that you use, they do affect status changes. Like for example, if you make a peppery meal that's very hot, it will help Link stay warm in cold climates, which is pretty dope. Also, one thing that they noted is that if you want to eat meat, you can, but if you don't want to eat meat, you don't have to. You can completely survive on fruits and vegetables, and that will be okay. And going along with that, Breath of the Wind will have more survival aspects than any Zelda ever before. You can use the resources of the world to craft weapons and craft arrows. You can make campfires, etc. I saw some portions in the game where you chop down trees and use the wood for like campfires and things like that. And if you come across any archer enemies, you can strategically dodge them and collect their arrows and use them back at them just so you can save your little arrows, because I don't think that you can find arrows as easily as you could in other games before this. Another thing about Breath of the Wild is that you can be stealthy at any given moment. If you have seen the gameplay, you will notice that there's a little sound bar at the bottom of the HUD, and it tells the player how audible Link's movements are. And so if you're really, really loud and you're just like stomping around, you know, of course, enemies who are a distance from you will be able to hear you and spot you. But if you're quiet and you're low to the ground, they won't be able to hear you as much, and you can sneak on them with some type of stealth attacks. Another thing about this game is that when you're shooting arrows and you're jumping off of ledges simultaneously, Link goes into like this really awesome slow motion scope mode that makes sniping enemies like so much more dope. It reminds me of like Gun Time and like Max Payne and stuff like that. It's really dope. Also, Link can jump. There's a button prompt now that allows Link to jump. So, you know, before in Legend of Zelda games, if you wanted to jump, you have to be near a ledge or a cliff. You couldn't just jump whenever you wanted to. Also, in Breath of the Wild, you will be using some type of Sheikah technology to interact with certain objects to solve puzzles. For example, in this gameplay that they showed us, one of the things I remember seeing the most is some type of magnet ability. If you hook up your Sheikah slate to some little rune that gives you that ability, you can pick up metal objects and move them out of the way and do whatever you need to kind of get through that obstacle at that time. Also, this game is gonna have voice acting, y'all. Oh snaps, that's one of the main things that Legend of Zelda fans have always wanted, is freaking voice acting. But as far as I could tell, the voice acting was only for the narration at the beginning of the trailer and the beginning of the gameplay. But I noticed that when they were going to the different shrines, like the little monks there didn't really have a voice. But I read somewhere that they took out the voices for the sake of the demo. I really hope that that's true, because I want everybody to talk in this game. Like, I don't want it to just be narration. Everybody needs to talk except for Link. I mean, I can deal with a Link that talks, but a lot of people can't. But I want everybody to talk. That's just my opinion. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is coming to both the Wii U and the Nintendo NX in 2017. Now, the last time they talked about this, they specified March 2017, which is supposed to launch alongside the NX. They're both supposed to be coming in that month. I really hope that Nintendo officially sticks to this month, because if they delay it again, I'm gonna be a very sad panda. They've already delayed this game twice. It was supposed to come in 2016, and also it was supposed to come in 2015, but you know, it got pushed back to 2017. So Nintendo, do us right, man, and bring this game out in freaking March of 2017 along with the NX, please. So that's pretty much all that I have for this video. Be sure to stay locked onto SheAttack.com. If you guys go to SheAttack.com, there is an article form of this, so if you want to go back to it and refer to it in a quick manner, be sure to do that. Also, whenever I find out more information about Breath of the Wild, I will be updating this article with new information. So thank you guys for tuning out this video, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.
REBOOT Gaming.